Okay, we're live. It's Monday, November 10th. I got a birthday coming up here in a week or so. Looking forward to that. Gonna be hitting the big 49. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, right? It's just a number once you get past like your 20s, right? But every time November rolls around, I don't know if a lot of people are like that, but I know my sister, my one sister's like that, and I know a few other people that are like this. That when you get into that month, it's like it when it's your month for your birthday, it's your birthday month. Not for me. I really don't care because you get up there in the age. But as I go live for the first minute, I just like to keep it light for anybody that watches this. So you can always usually fast forward through the first minute or so before I jump in. And now I'm going to jump in. My topic today is going to be around research, the way that you find your business ideas, and the way that you can, kind of tackle those ideas and see what is something that makes sense for you for building a product, building a business, and building that additional revenue stream with AI. So I have 10 plus ways. There's probably like 12 to 13 here once I jump in on a screen share that I will show you. Kind of, let's call this like a lightweight live series to part of the series that I'm doing here for going live today. This is going to be a fun one, I think. I'm going to actually show you like what's behind my screen. What are some of the things that I use, my tips and tricks and some of my little hacks. But this will be a little lightweight. This is almost like let's call it like a starter kit of ideas that I thought a lot of people could really kind of grab and go with right away. I feel like there could be a follow episode to this, a follow series on this at some point in the near future, where I'll get into some more advanced ways to do it and some more expensive ways to do it. So, but for this one, most of this will be free. Most of this will be readily accessible to just about everybody. Let's jump in. And so I had shared this in Friday's episode, my last one, that I have a sheet that I keep track of. I call it Company for One, and I put a lot of my ideas in here just as I'm kind of moving about on my day, and it's very random. It comes in the strangest of times. Driving in my car, I'm in the shower. Believe it or not, I'm jumping out of the shower to write that banger idea down, at least that I think is a banger. And then we find out later that maybe it's already been invented. Maybe it's already been created. Maybe there's just no market for it at all. By the way, I always see that if my idea is already out there with somebody, that it's validated. You tend to think that you have like these ideas in your head that, oh, no one has ever thought of this before, the eureka moment. Chances are those ideas have already been created before. But don't be discouraged if you're like, oh wow, the Alexa. Here's number on my very first one under the my ideas. I have an Alexa and voice devices for cars. I mean, yeah, they're already created. There's a lot of that already. This was an idea that I had a while ago, but I still think that there's a big market for it. Makeup line aimed at young girls under 10. That's because I have two little girls. Okay. I got two little girls, and well, they're not little anymore, I guess. They're 13 and 16. But I was looking at all the makeup that they've been grabbing over the years. They're in Ulta and they're in Sephora and all these different brands. I mean, they flock to it because TikTok and the influencers that they use have done a fantastic job with making this seem like it's needed for them. And I'm not a big fan of young girls putting a lot of stuff on their skin at such a young age. I don't really think that they need it, but it's almost like it's something to play with. They like to dress up. So I feel like there's a makeup line, and I don't know if it exists. I don't know what kind of a market there is, but that was an idea. I have a dog. Have you ever been out in the cold in the morning sometimes and you're like, will this damn bag open up? where it's dark and you're like, your dog's trying to, get away from you after it just went to the bathroom. And you're just trying to open up that bag, and it's these damn bags just don't open up. I feel like that's a Shark Tank idea. But I have them all. Oh, and I had, I'm divorced for 6+ years. And, for a minute there, I thought, why don't they just have a social network that's just geared around the men, because if you're familiar with the dating scene, there's a dating app called Bumble, and it's really centered around the women. The women are the ones that take the action. I think that's the site that they have that. But yeah. So anyway, these are just as you go through your daily, your daily flow, the ideas kind of come to you. I highly suggest keeping some sort of a lightweight tracker for yourself. I have the Google Sheets app on my phone, and I also have the Notes app. I use the Notes app like crazy. The other thing that, to kind of kick this off in the spirit of what I do, I run a company called Active with AI, and I'm helping companies turn their ideas into products and businesses with AI. And I use AI extensively in the early phases working with these clients, the ideation piece. I look at the market, I look at the data, I look at the trends, I look at anything that I can grab that will kind of validate that there's a really good idea there. I would never want to go down a path and build something for someone, and then they turn around and say, this is a great site or a great app that you've built, but I can't do anything with it. And I've wasted my money. I never would want to go down that path with somebody. So I want to help them. I want to help them say, hey, I think you're in the right spot, but I think you should consider this pivot, or I think you should add this or subtract that. You ideate together. So believe it or not, ChatGPT, Claude, some Grok, some of these sites that you're using, these tools that you're using, these AI LLMs, these models that you're using, you can go right in there and ask them, hey, what's trending this past week around whatever topic that you like? I just put fintech in there. I hadn't talked about fintech on here in that space. Are there companies that have gained funding? I want to know like what's sparking up, that gives me an indication that there's a trend there. If there's funding going around certain things in that space. Is there mainstream news that's closely related to it? Is it on Fox or CNN or MSNBC? What are they talking about? Anything else that comes up? And you can get as granular and detailed as you want with your search. It pulled up quite a bit for me, actually. I'm just going to skim it over for you here. There's a lot of sources at the bottom. I'll show you that. Key trends and themes. There's a shift right now towards B2B payments and infrastructure, and it gives you a little bit about that, okay? The goal is, when you're doing this, you're looking in here for, where's my angle? So if you're in the fintech space and you're looking to, get out of your job, you're tired of sitting in that 9 to 5, or if you feel like there's a layoff coming around the corner, if you're looking over your shoulder consistently because of because of the structure of your team, you don't like your boss. I'm not encouraging anything here. I'm just saying let's call the reality of the situation what it is. Everybody's under a lot of stress out there, whether you're working in a job or whether you're fresh out of a job. I think everybody right now, we live in an era right now. It's an AI era, but we live in an era where you have an abundance of tools. You have the internet. It's been here for years. With AI now, you have this power that's in your hands that you may not realize, that you can go your own path if you know how to do it, if you know where to go with it, So you're looking in here for something, if you're in the fintech space, that you can pull out and say, okay, that plays on my experience. That also plays on my interest. That also gets me right out of bed in the morning. I'm excited. I want to start something in that area. Let's continue to look for it. Let's continue to dig. So we got that shift towards the B2B payments. Okay, that's sort of interesting. Stable coins. I know very little about stable coins. Disciplined investment environment. Okay, you go through here. AI fintech crossovers. AI is increasingly embedded. Fintechs using AI frameworks for risk, fraud detection, and decision making. I feel like there's always a play to take your expertise if you're in fintech, come out of the company that you're in and immediately go into consulting. A one-man company, a one-woman company, whatever. You go in and you're like, hey, I'm going to productize myself and I'm going to start a business around it. I'm going to consult. So whatever was your expertise that you were being paid, whatever the figure was, you come out and you use that expertise. You use the labels that you were just with, whether you were with Microsoft, whether you were with Google, whether you were with, okay, let's talk about financial companies. How about just talk banks? PNC, Wells Fargo, Chase, or anything that's related to financial services, Merrill Lynch. And you go right in using that to kick down the door. Get yourself a really killer website, productize yourself. These are the things that you should be thinking about. But you go where the trend is. You're looking for the trend, right? Notable new companies, okay. And you look through here. You can see that there's a little bit of information there. Short, yes, there are some new startups and deals in fintech this week, okay. You go to the mainstream news and you look through here. There's a lot. And then you want to double check on those sources too, because you can pull yourself right into the main articles, and then you can do a little further digging in that research for yourself. So it's pulling from a lot of really interesting places: payments.com, FinTech Global, FinTech Magazine. There's a KPMG report here. So I mean, if it doesn't pull up enough at the end, ask for more sources. Ask to go out and pull from credible sources that you recognize or that you feel like kind of validate what you're looking at. That's one way to do it. And you could do this in the different models, right? So I pay for a ChatGPT Plus. I pay for I think it's called a Plus or a Pro model over with Claude. I usually run the same prompt or similar through both and look around. Now, one strong way to go about looking for ideas is to subscribe to newsletters. Every day, you're getting a writing team of researchers for these places for free. All these newsletters are free, really. And they're delivering you a hand-picked platter of ideas. Sometimes you're just not looking at them in the right way. Like The Hustle is talking, like they literally pop up like what's trending, okay? This robotic startup is digging for a labor shortage solution. The problem, the pitch, and the outlook. Okay? I got a company here called Gravis Robotics. Turn earth-moving machines into autonomous bots. Okay? If I was interested in that, I would dig right in, right? And again, let me stress this idea. Stay close to your lane. What I mean by that is if you have experience in fintech, like we were just talking about, try to stay in fintech or something closely related. You wouldn't want to go off if you have no experience and say, I'm going to go be a head chef in a restaurant. I mean, if it's your passion, sure, go for it. Or if you're like, hey, I'm going to start the next X, but it has nothing to do with fintech, and you have a long, steep learning curve to figure it out, you can do it. Just as long as you have a lot of money in your bank account to really fund you along the way. But the fastest path to making money is to productize yourself, stay close to what your expertise has built on, because you'll know what to do in that spot. You'll know what to do in that space. Your profile will be able to help sell you and get you in the door. There's just a lot of positives to it. So you look through here. This talks about some things that are in the news. The NBA joined in a $40 million funding round for Fast Break AI, which makes software for sports organizations to schedule and manage games, travel, ticketing, and more. So if I'm really big into sports, which I am, and if I had worked in that industry before, which I haven't, but let's say I did, I would look closer at this. And I would say, okay, is there something that I could have as a direct competing product because this one gained funding? Or is there surrounding ideas that are adjacent to it, underneath, above, in that ecosystem, that I might be able to work, to create on my own? And always try to create something that you don't have a lot of roadblocks or obstacles, right? So you could try to reach out to Fast Break AI, partner with them, work alongside, consult, develop a product line for, fill in a need that they have, because, hey, they just gained funding. They're going to be spending it, they're building. But I always like to be able to have an idea that I can be be like, hey, I'm going to build this in the next week. I'm going to build it in the next month. I don't have a lot of barriers here except for my time and my money. That's it. You can see there the news around some of the other things here, some other startups. And then I think this is an advertisement right there. Yeah. That's for the hustle. That's for the HubSpot. That's theirs. Then they have the big idea. They typically have this in each one. Air travel just got better for the rich. Now, again, if you're not in the travel space, if you don't work for an airport or an airline, or you don't have some kind of a loose association with what you're doing around this may not immediately grab you. But there's a lot of evidence here to show that there are some business ideas that will come out of that. So you have to look closely at it. And so you just read down through these ideas, and there's a lot here. They usually have a couple of mini ideas and then a big one, right? And then another one that I got a hold of recently, I found this through a podcast, actually. They were advertising, and it's called Mindstream. Again, free. Handpicked ideas being delivered to me every morning, right? This is more of an AI-focused newsletter, and I like to be caught up on the industry, first and foremost. But as I'm reading, I just continuously get new ideas. I read a lot of magazines too. That's not even in here. I'm old school, right? I actually go to Barnes and Noble. I pick up like a Fast Company. I pick up Inc. magazine, Wired magazine. There's a few. I grab them and I usually leaf through and I read. I get like inspiration looking at the ideas. And I actually sort of, oddly enough, I don't know if there's other people out there like this, but I'm old, old school like that. I get I like the physical touch, of a book or a magazine more so than I like to read digital. But again, everything's really like digital here. So that's what we're really focused on. But magazines, another one, the business magazines. I also get inspiration just kind of walking around in the bookstores. I know there's other people like that too. This one talks about the space out there, the AI space, and then the trending tools. Okay, there's a trending tool section in here and what they are. So you can look through those. Suno's been getting a lot of play recently because it's, and a lot of coverage out there because it's just a great tool that you can use for creating basically AI music or music with AI. I guarantee you've listened to some music that's created by AI at this point, whether it's Suno, 11 Labs, and some others that are out there. Interesting space, really cool tools, right? But there's ideas around what's trending. If Suno is trending for AI music, there's ideas in that ecosphere, right? In that circle, that big sphere of, what's going on with AI music, right? AI tools. AI just dropped AI book translations for free. Okay. And then you have the Mindstream picks. Okay, they talk about NASA's Goddard. Flight Center faces major budget cuts, staff losses. I always feel like too, like there's ideas where there are companies and spaces that are letting people go. Whatever reason that they're talking about too. Sometimes that's just out to the public to create a narrative, right? To save face for the company, to put a good spin on things. But there's always opportunities when companies are letting people go too. There's ideas to come back and to consult into those companies and offer them what they're missing, right? They just let go of a shitload of people. Yeah, there's an opportunity to come back in there. Believe it or not, most people say there's no money there. There is. So you can go on here. There's a lot of different things, but a lot of different newsletters. I think I subscribe to maybe like 12 to 15. I kind of keep filtering them. Like, am I really getting any value out of this? And I try to look through them on a day-to-day basis. And again, stick to the free ones. Now, Google Trends used to be really good, and it's something worth noting here. I don't go here as often, but I know that I'd be kind of be out of place if I didn't at least offer it and put it out here so you could, add it to your tricks too. Occasionally, there's some good things in here. This is a little more mainstream for me, but it will give you a look at what are different topics, and you can pop them in here and get a feel for that. But yeah, again, you can search across what you want to search on here, and you can see what's trending now. And it will give you a little bit of an indicator of some things here and kind of a little bit of an idea of search volume around some things. And I know this because, Lenny Wilkins just died, former very famous NBA player and coach, I believe. So he's on there as well. So again, this is a little more mainstream what this is. If you want to dig into trends that are maybe a little off the beaten path, I used to actually subscribe to one called Exploding Topics. Exploding Topics got purchased by SEM Rush. This is inside SEM Rush. And I wanted you to see what this looks like here. They have a trends database. They're actually going to still let me click through and see a few things here. My account is sort of still live. We're going to test this out here. But you can go through and look at a trends database and dig in by the different topics here. So technology of artificial intelligence, programming, automation, business. You've got retail, productivity. Let's just look at the very first one off the top here. Let's look at business. Let's jump in on retail. You have 116,000 of these in their trends database. Okay. They talk about a bunch of different ones here. They put them into boxes, and then they give you kind of that little trend line, almost like it's a stock, like in a stock market. They're showing you, what kind of volume there is around, this is around, kind of like search and so forth there, right? And where it kind of fits out online. So Celamax, here we go. It's a Korean skincare brand known for its focus on transparency and clean ingredients. So a skincare brand. So if we wanted to look further at this, you'd want to dig in and find out about what is Celamax. An honest promise of better skin. Let's take a peek here. All right, this product is the Real Nani Energy Ampoule. Ampoule? I can't pronounce that. Next one is the Vita A Retinol Shot Tightening Booster. Yeah, I mean, we just talked about that at the top of this video. Yeah, I mean, skincare products, they're being marketed so well right now on TikTok. So well, they're getting influencers here, and they're pulling them in to get a part of it, and they're really working. I mean, that strategy really works with influencers. They're going out there and pushing out a little 30 to 60-second clip about them trying something on their face or on their hands or on their hair, and it's really exploding. These kind of you can see where a lot of these products really, honestly, they would take off. So that's Celamax. Never heard of that. But apparently what they're offering here, honest, user-friendly cosmetics that aim to deliver effective skincare results, differentiating itself by prioritizing ingredient transparency. Interesting. Don't know enough about it, but you can see the channel. They give you a channel breakdown, like where it's exploding: LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and so forth there. So yeah, this is a really cool site to be able to see, to see a breakdown of that. And then it gives you related trends as you scroll down through it. So, and you can see that a lot of those trends are around their products. Super interesting. Come back over here. I'll show you another one. So that's Celamax, and you got embedded finance. Let me see this. You have a massive spike here. See, this is global Google search volume. So you have a massive spike here, just inside the last, in the last 6 months. It's really shot up. Look at that curve; it's gone way up. Over 1,000 weekly results, down from 300 and some. So yeah, I mean, it's shot up. And this is an integration of banking and other financial services into non-financial apps and services. So again, if you were in the financial services space, you'd have to think to yourself, is this something that I feel like I want to look at a little further? Is this something that I feel like I might be able to offer? Again, the fastest way to kind of roll yourself into a trend is to find a trend that matches your experience as closely as you can, productize yourself, start to consult. Maybe you're the first consultant out of the gate. A lot of companies have been built like that. And then as you get more and more business that you can't handle and you've got incredibly healthy margins, you can bring on more around you. You can train them up, bring people from your space in. Now you have a company. Or if you don't want the hassle of a big staff, I know I don't. You can just continue to do it for yourself. Bring up your margin or bring up bring up your price point. Add in the offerings that you think that you can handle. Start to automate some things with AI. And there you go. You have a healthy business for yourself. But again, you can go through here and you can even search across what are trends that make sense in your space. And you can go in here and you can do the search for that. Don't know if it's going to let me do it because let's see here. We'll go fintech. We'll wait for this for 5 seconds. To be honest, I came into this pulling this up. I wanted to show it to you just from a surface level. I wasn't sure if my account was still going to work. It looks like it's still working. I think it expires for me soon, and I think I was going to let it go because I think it just got a little expensive amongst all the tools, and I wasn't using it as much. But I really like it. I really like this. Then you also get the SEMrush, which is a competitor to Ahrefs or Hrefs. They pronounce it differently, where you'll be able to look at rich keywords, topics, and things. I'll talk about Ahrefs in just a minute. Looks like that's loading some data. Might be taking a little while. Come back to that in 5 seconds. Another one that I have mentioned a couple of times here is answer the public. You can come in here, pop your topic in. You get a topic free every day with the free account. There's a lifetime membership. I think it's 119 and you get full access. You go full bore on here. But if you just want to do the free one, it just gives you the kind of the tip of the iceberg kind of look at a specific topic. If you're, again, we'll just continue to stay with this fintech apps, we'll say. And it will give you the volume and the different things that are trending around that on your search engines like Google and Bing. You can see it right there. It'll go into some social media sites as well and other places. So you got a kind of a low search volume actually around fintech apps. But again, I'm not being specific enough though, where you could say that is wide ranging topic there, but and you can see what people are asking, what trends are popping up on social media here. So the AI models, what are they asking? What questions are they asking? Okay. Which fintech apps offer the highest security features for online banking? What can I find? Excuse me. How can I find fintech apps that help with investing for beginners? Could be a play for some sort of a educational series there, or again, just straight consulting. Where can I download fintech apps? Okay, with popular accounting software. And you can see what they're saying on social media here, fintech apps development, fintech apps, and then shopping, and then the search engines over here, fintech apps in the UK, fintech apps in India. Okay. There's a little bit of a kind of a trend, like a more of a you can see the long tail of what some of this looks like here, what people are asking. I love to be able to see straight into what questions are being asked around a topic. I think that that's really a big indicator of some things. And then you can see here some of the AI prompts that have been out there. What are the best fintech apps for managing personal budgets? What offers the highest security features? Again, investments for beginners. It's almost like you could roll up a lot of questions, go out online and put them into like sort of like a Q&A database, of sorts to be able to, kind of help like just the beginning crowd, right? I mean, if they're looking for this and if the search volume is there. Amazon, again, social media. So I do like this just on a kind of a surface level to be able to see. Again, you're getting idea of validation here with this a little bit. And you're seeing what are some of the gaps that I might be able to cover. I want to come back here real fast over to exploding topics. Okay. I put in fintech around the trends analysis here. They got a lot. They got the different startups. I'll show you that in a second. But the trend analysis, yeah, you can see the different topics here. Fintech stock, fintech decrypt, fintech engineer. I don't know enough about some of, what everything is here, but you can see that the search volume is there, what it looks like, and what percentage it's gone up in a year. I want to look at what this is here. This has a massive growth here. Where was it? 4,789% search volume inside the last year. Fintech, we're gone. We're going. What is that? Oh, I see. That's an actual place. That's a country, or is that in India? Yeah. No? No, this is wrong. I don't know why that's coming up. Yeah. This looks like this is in India. So the biggest trend is around one of the biggest trends right now is around what? Here we go. Top fintech startups in India. I've not heard of that city there. Interesting. So apparently that city is really touching off, and you'd want to go further with that. You'd want to see, is there a big trend to outsourcing there? What is the big play over there right now? Why is that really exploding, right? The other thing that I do like, and again, you go down through here and you find there's 22 pages of results here to go through. You can start tracking those topics. There's a lot of real value in here. Trending startups, you can go and drill down into a lot of different things. Here you have 6, 7, 8 different ways to kind of pull down through the results. And you can see what are the top. You can see it's shaded out because I think that it's offering me kind of a limited access into this. Um, but yeah, you can drill down in and you can see what are the trending startups. And then you can get an idea if this company is doing well, if they have a lot of funding. Uh, what are some ideas that I might have to kind of piggyback and ride that wave too, right? Trending products, really cool stuff in here. And I think I'd have to upgrade my account. You get the TikTok activity and so forth here. So this is great. Another one that I wanted to jump in on very fast is I did not show this the other day, but I did talk about it, is Jungle Scout. I forgot to put it on here, but I feel like it's absolutely perfect to at least talk through on the surface level. I used to have access to this account. I kind of come in and out of it depending on if I need it. I think the price point is around $69 or something like that for here we go. If you pay monthly, yeah. 49 to 79 for an account. What this is research pulled up from Amazon. And so basically it's giving you a ton of data around what's selling, what's trending, and what's hot on Amazon. It slivers it down. It gives you all sorts of data around, and I'm not sure if it's showing everything here, right? But one of the things that when I was using it, you could get in there and you could look at a product, and then you could actually, for some of them, see who was manufacturing their products, which was really key. So I'd be like, okay, I have a client that is trying to, build a product here, and they need to understand about, where am I going to actually have this product put together, right? Or where am I going to get a piece of that product made? And then you'd be able to look at some of the competitors and see exactly where overseas or in what country and what kind of price point. You can get a feel for all these things through here. But you could also get a sense of, if I'm going to put a product out to market and I'm going to use Amazon as a channel or not. You can just see what the search volume on it is, how many sales, what the price points are, all of that stuff. So a lot of data to really bring you up to speed, validate your idea, validate your products, and you can get a very fast look at, is there a market for what I want? But yeah, and you can go ahead and track the keywords in here. This is an incredible site if you actually have that physical product that you're going to be going to sell. And I highly recommend this. Again, this is a tool that I don't have access to at this point to be able to show you like behind the screen on it, but it is a real deep dive. Let me see if they'll have an actual if I can actually show you what this looks like here. It's kind of generic screenshots, but I will tell you, it gives you the product, the actual picture of it. You can hover over it, you can see what it looks like. You can drill right in and hit the link and go right out like you're shopping on Amazon. And then when you're on Amazon, you can actually have their plugin so that when you're in there separate from Jungle Scout, you can hover over a product and you can see all this rich data around it. So you don't have to come back into Jungle Scout. Really cool stuff. But if you're selling physical products for that, that 40 to 70 price range that we were just talking about there for the price point, this is definitely worth it. Yeah, that sort of $50 to $80 price range per month. Very well worth it. So I wanted to make sure that that was popped up for you there. One that I do have access to, I believe I pay 29 a month for this, is this site right here called Ahrefs, as they call it, I believe. And you can really dig in here in a lot of different ways. I tend to use it in kind of 1 to 2 ways. I like the keyword search. I think that that's the best way that I've been using it to get in there to find a particular topic that I'm looking for, getting a breakdown of what's trending in that space. What does the search volume look like? If I just come in here and go under, we'll go under here. Let's create a new one. So we'll do that. We'll do the fintech apps, fintech products, fintech consulting. Let me see what comes up here. List name, fintech. Very generic, I know, but for the sake of this, I come in here and it right away it gives me just a little bit of a product, a little bit of an idea of the volume, and I like to come in under the matching key terms. It gives me kind of just a flavor for news company. It gives me a long tail of that topic broken out for me. Kind of explodes out my idea is what it does, my terms. So you can see some of the search volume here. You have a search volume. This is search volume shows an estimate of the average monthly number for the last 12 months. So it's a roll up of an average of the last 12 months, 77,000 search volume just for fintech. You've got fintech, Zoom.com, fintech companies. What is fintech? I like to come in here to questions. I like to see what people are searching for on that particular topic. And this is super interesting that a lot of people don't understand even what fintech is. Who offers the best bill pay in fintech? These are low search volumes here. Only 350 searches a month for this stuff. But you can get a feel for this. You get an idea of the keywords. You can drill into questions. You can see the search volume. You can see what kind of a market there may be for your particular idea. Get very granular and specific with what it is. And you come in here and then you can see that kind of bubble up. And you can, again, you're getting validation around it. And you're also looking to see what gaps you can fill that you weren't thinking of. And again, you're also looking for, again, things that you may not have previously even thought of coming into it. And then you think to yourself, is that something that I have expertise in? Is this something I can learn real fast? And is this something that actually makes sense to, offer a product around or put into my company that I'm going to build? So I do like that. And I really, I'm a big proponent of using, of using X. I come out here quite often. I like to get in here and I use their pro account. I think it's called Pro. And I have a dashboard that I use. And at some point I will feature that and show that here what's in my dashboard. But this just gives you a sense of it here. I come into X and there are different things that I do A follow. I let me go back to my profile to start there. I actually keep a very tight, a really tight amount of people that I follow, and it's always being curated. I used to follow a couple thousand, and then I put it down to like maybe like 100 or so. And then as you know, within the last few years, as I got really hot and heavy into AI design and development, I really started following more in that space. I wanted to be up to speed on the news in the space. I wanted to follow people that were kind of really rich and sparking off ideas for me. Um, Products in the space. There's a lot of things here that, to be honest, I come into X and I ideate like crazy. Like just stuff like just pops off. Because I feel like there's just so many good people out here sharing out their hacks, their tips. People are really generous out here with talking about what they're building. It's a very, and much like all of social media is, it's a very like me kind of thing. You're out there like talking about and bragging about what you're doing. But even more so out here, I feel like the people out here are they're builders, they're tinkerers. It's a very show me site. And so with that, I'm always looking at, and I have a very curated news list here, a lot of tech news I look through and try to keep a couple of diverse channels in there too. I follow a lot of AI companies and lists. Robert Scoble has major lists out here that you can kind of pull and follow. Uh, Build in Public is one that I really like. I kind of liken it to an international fish bowl of people building. They're building their products. It's a lot of solopreneurs. It's a lot of people that are uh, building their businesses right out there in front of you. But again, it's people showing you like, hey, uh, test my product out, see my landing page, check out my hero section. I'm having a problem with my product. Can anybody help me? There's just lots of really good, rich conversation around the trends. You can easily see, hey, there's a lot of SaaS companies around this idea popping up right now, or oh wow, there's a lot of AI companies that are trending in this way, and they're using these tools. So it gives me a quick feel, every day as I come in, come into jump into the pool of Twitter. I keep calling it Twitter, X, but there's a lot of stuff here. Startup communities, founders communities, solopreneurs. So you can kind of see where my mind goes. These are all, kind of different communities that you can follow in here. So there's a lot of really good content out here, a lot of really good people, and a really rich way to kind of find ideas. There's just so much out here. I will do a separate, just a separate series, a separate show just on this alone, and I'll pop up the dashboard, I'll rock it all for you, and I'll walk you through exactly what I'm doing in there. But I want to give you that feel for the source, right? Reddit is another one as well, and right off the bat, you get something stupid when you come into Reddit. I got to be honest. I like Reddit, but it can be a little bit of a mess in here. I do come in here and I follow a lot of communities, but for some reason, this community it's a little hit and miss. But there's a lot of really good stuff out here, a lot of tech people out here in these different communities. But if you just come right into the homepage, like I'm in here, you will find some not safe for work content. Be careful, and you will find some different things in here, like people sharing pictures of just random stuff like that. So you have to sort of like be careful as you kind of come in here, but I follow a lot of the channels here, the communities, not channels, but communities in Reddit. They call them subreddits. And I like to follow the ones that are really focused on my topics. So AI, entrepreneur and solopreneur communities, building communities, and some of the tech tools. Those are really big and key to me. If fintech is your space, there's plenty of topics in here on that. You can come in here and you can see what people are sharing out. What are they building? What are they talking about? What's important today? You can just see the flow and the volume of a lot of this. Unpopular opinion: most companies aren't ready for AI because their data is a disaster. I believe it, and I've seen it a lot. But you jump right in here. Look at this. There's 123 comments in here. So not only can you use this to find trends and find ideas, There's ideas, by the way, where people are complaining. And a lot of people don't realize that. When people are complaining about something, sometimes people either want to avoid it or jump right in and jump right into that argument and state their case about something. But what's really important to know is if somebody's complaining about something, it's the same thing like when they're asking a question for help. The someone that's asking a question for help, that's a layup that there's a business idea or something there to help with to make money off of. But there's also the same on this kind of the flip side of that. If someone's complaining about something and there's a loud conversation around it, unpopular opinion, there's 123 comments here. So and that's a big topic, but there's a lot of different ideas that could come out of that as you read through those comments. So again, I find Reddit to be really interesting for that. Look at this. I follow like an e-commerce one. I'm following an entrepreneur one. I mean, some of them are a little wild, and the people out here, much like every community, you have your overly enthusiastic people that stay in these communities, and they're overly enthusiastic because they feel like they have an ownership over some of these groups, and they can almost tell when there's like some new people out here. That's really what it is. And so be careful what you're actually sharing. But at the beginning, I say jump right in, look at the topics, pull out the ideas and what you're seeing that makes sense for it. When you're seeing different topics, once you get in here and you start to get some reps on this, you're going to see the validation around your ideas. You're going to see, hey, why are so many people talking about this? The light bulb moment will go off for you. You're going to say, hey, I think there's something here. So don't miss out on Reddit. Now, I know I had talked about Lovable here. I think it was Friday as a part of what my topic. But it really kind of hit me as I was coming in and developing a kind of a small curated list to talk about today. That from the community area in here, and they have different places like this on the others with like VO and Replit and Bolt, these different areas where they're sharing their projects. But you can instantly get an idea for, are there trends building around certain types of websites being built, certain types of products that are being put together as well. There's a lot of extra ideas that could come off of building off on top of somebody's idea, right? They call it remixing here in Lovable Land. But I like to come in here and I like to just get just a quick peek at this every once in a while to see what's being featured and why. Okay, and is there anything here, even if the idea isn't fully formed yet, if it's more of an MVP or a prototype here, I do like to get a sense of where are people going with this. Oh, I can see that they're building an idea in the fintech space again. Oh, and they have something here that might make sense. Okay, I can see they sort of have a starter idea, but I think I have an idea that goes way beyond that. And so now you have a spark. So as you go through these vibe coding communities like Lovable, Replit, VO, Bolt, there's a lot of these. And those are some of the big ones. Don't forget to check out their communities, their resources section where projects are being housed, whatever's being shared out in the communities. That also sparks off, again, more ideas for what are products that I could build, what are businesses that might be something suitable for me. Then there's mainstream news. There's blogs. Yes, they still exist. It's kind of a funny word anymore, right? A blog. There's blogs. There's mainstream news like your Fox, CNN, MSNBC. And then you get into these type of sites. You have these very specific sites like The Verge. You have TechCrunch. You've got a long tail of these, a lot of them. And they're more tech-focused sites. I just put up The Verge so you could just check it out here. I like to come in every once in a while and I like to check out their top stories. If I subscribe to some of these things and have them delivered in my email, it's just going to get lost. If you're like me, I just can't look at too many emails that come in. I got to keep my email box tight. Same with the amount of people I'm following on Twitter or X. I got to keep the amount of information flowing into the news feed or the actual followers nice and tight. If it gets too big and bloated, everything gets lost. But every once in a while, I remember my old friend The Verge, and I come back in here and I check out, hey, what are some of the top stories to look at, and what are some of the main stories that are kind of bubbling up to the top today's stream and following. And I like to see, is there anything in here that is of interest to me? Here we go, most popular. IKEA just took over your smart home. They did? It's going to ask me to sign up. Get out of here. I really feel like these like sort of like these paywall type sites, let's call it that at this point, sort of like you're getting into like a paywall situation here where it wants you to, even if it's asking me for an email, that's a paywall to me. It gets annoying. But again, lots of different sites to go through. I like another one that I really like. I'll pull it right up here because I've got just another minute for you on this one. I love me some Fast Company. And do you get the magazine? And I also just like to come in here and look around. No, this is something that's been with me for probably like a decade plus, and always have liked and appreciated, kind of the different tech news and mainstream news that kind of flows in from here. Then the last one, this is the one I'm going to end with here, is, and I've showed this a few times before, but I like this site called Mobbin. I like it for inspiration for clients I'm working with and how to help them build a really good app or website. And I like to come in here and show them, okay, here's the specific area that we're going to be in, and let's look around for some inspiration for what you want in your app, your website, and so forth. We'll look around at the different hero sections. We'll look around at the payments flows. We'll look around at like layouts. We'll get a sense of the layouts, the typography, the color schemes, animations, all that stuff. But while I'm in here all the time, I'm looking around at, okay, there's some really cool ideas that are sparking ideas off for different businesses. And there's just so many. Look at all these categories here. Even though the crypto and Web3 space it's a confusing space to a lot, there's a lot of really cool ideas coming out here and a lot of different companies, like really cool companies. So I like to look at the web version, and you can just sort of get a feel for what are their products look like here, and what are they selling. Change the way you money. For those who want more from their money, there's Revolut. Man, I like the inspiration I get around, okay, maybe there's like what's this product really do? And I want to get a better sense of it. Could there be an idea to kind of play off of this? Either it's developing a competitor, or maybe again, it's something inside the sphere, as I would like to say. What's in there? Again, finance. We were on the fintech topic here. I know I've said that a number of times, but what's midday? All of a sudden, this simplistic look just grabbed my attention. I like to go to the web version. Let me see here. Come down to that main screen. What is this? Invoicing, time tracking, file reconciliation, storage, financial overview, and your own assistant made for agencies. I gravitate to sometimes to like real simplistic looking sites. The site for Active with AI is more like whites through light grays. And that's what this one is. So you can see how the brain works, right? Sort of, it's a familiar thing to me. So I came right into it. But again, if you're using this site and you're looking around, you can say, okay, so we're in finance here. Again, fintech, Klarna, Rocket Money, Midday. You got Monarch for budget and tracking money. Origin, spending, saving, and net worth. Fay, make better investments. Okay, looks like more of a dashboard type of a feel there. Gemini, buy, sell, and store crypto. I'm liking that bold color choice, and I'm liking what they have here. But again, go beyond just the design and say, okay, look, there's a lot of companies popping up for managing the money, the different experience through the money, security. Where's my money going? How's it being invested? How can I get it back out? The full money experience, right? So lots of cool things here. Coinbase and PayPal, we all know about those pretty much. Binance. It's just really cool. There's lots of different ways to go ahead and do this. And again, just because I didn't mention an idea doesn't mean that there's not more than these. There's quite a bit of ways to go about this. If I spend another hour, and I'm not going to today, I could go through probably another 5 to 6 that are in my head right now. Are some of them are paid tools, and some of them are kind of mashups. You're looking on one site and grabbing another and kind of saying, okay, now I can get the complete picture here. This company or this site gave me this data, and let me verify some things here. And now I feel like there's a good idea. I'll walk through some things at another point. And I think the only thing that I really went AI focused here today was on ChatGPT. And if all else fails and you don't want to do all the things that I just said, go into ChatGPT, get your prompt game going there, and figure out what are the right ways to have a conversation with GPT about your idea. Ask it lots of questions, have it verify and pull up and give you the sources. And that is an incredible start point for you right there. That's all I have for you today. I have some other things that I want to share with you later in the week. I've got a really cool concept around where I'm going to take this series. Basically, I want to take it where I'm going to have an idea a day and pull it through from idea and into from the idea to the research to the MVP and prototype and actually show it to you. So I think we've got some really cool stuff here to share out. So stay tuned, stay with me. I'll see you in the next one.